So I'm about to start my next project. This is going to be a lifePO4 solar generator of sorts. That is the battery that is going to go into that. I'm actually building this for a friend of mine, and he wanted one where he could access all the controls and all the switches and all the power outlets only from the top. The reason is he's going to set this in his travel trailer and he won't have access to the sides. So he wants to be able to, right from the top of the travel trailer, be able to access all the power plugs, the main power switch, stuff like that. And so while looking around, we came across this toolbox, which has a pretty awesome top layout there. And the goal is to try and fit everything in those containers. And so that everything, you just open the top lid and you'll be able to access all the controls from there. We are going lithium iron phosphate, so that is the battery ready to go. That's about a 2.7 kilowatt battery, so this will be a really large solar generator. This is realistically larger than pretty much anything you can buy, even the largest ones from Jackery and those guys. This is larger. The only downside is lithium iron phosphate is heavy. This is over 30 pounds right here just in the battery. Plus we're going to add another, say, 15 pounds in inverters and other stuff to this. So this will probably be 45 pounds when we're done. You're not going to be, taking a stroll with this thing, but it is a relatively compact size, and it should be exactly what he needs. And actually this one that I'm building here is actually mine. We haven't built his yet. After we found this toolbox for him, I ended up buying another one of these toolboxes for myself to rebuild mine. I have another one over here in this Stanley, but there's actually quite a lot of open space in this toolbox that's unused, and I decided I actually prefer this toolbox more, so I'm rebuilding mine in this toolbox. And once I learn some things, whatever I come up with, I'll use that design to rebuild his. Anyways, let's get started. So I have prepared my battery. I have attached an EC5 connection here. This will go over to a big switch and then into the inverter, and I'm using 10 gauge wire, which is the same wire gauge as the BMS. Always use the same wire gauge as the BMS you're using. That'll give you an idea of how thick of a wire you need for this much current. This is a 50 amp BMS and I'm using 10 gauge, so that should be plenty. You'll notice this BMS has an extra wire coming out. This is because this has a separate charge circuit from the discharge circuit. So most BMSs I buy only have the two wires, one to the battery, one out. And on most BMSs you charge through the same wire. This one is different. This has a separate charge circuit. So I've added this extra negative wire here, and this positive wire will go off to a charge circuit, and I'll probably put an inline fuse on those. But anyways, the battery is basically ready, and now we can start preparing the box. These batteries are quite heavy, so even once you take them together, you can't just sort of pick this battery up by the sides, because that's over 30 pounds right there. So it's a good idea to put a small board and a couple carrying straps that are stapled to the board underneath. That'll allow you to lift it up easily in and out of the box if you ever have to service it. But anyways, the battery is prepared, and now let's start looking in the box. Okay, so start laying out your switches and everything like that. And you can see I've put in my main bus master power here. But when you do this, be very careful of what is underneath. I've already sort of put the battery in place. These terminals are relatively close up here, so I can't put too many high-powered items or deep items here because they will touch the terminals. That's why I've put the main power switch here, so because there's this open area here that it'll go into, and there'll be no interference here. I'll put little things like switches and maybe the meter and stuff up at this top part, because they should clear this deck height here. So just be very wary of what is going to be underneath your switches as you put things in. Okay, so I've laid out all my major items. I have my main power switch. I have USB and 12 volt. I have 220 volt circuits. I I have my meter, and I have the switches for the meter, the USB, and the 12 volt in the fan circuit. If we open it up, you can see the lid. Now the reason these items are at the front is because the battery is at the back and it's relatively close to the lid. So we want these taller items, we want all these taller items to come down and fill this area here that's open so that we have no potential contacts with these items. And the inverter will tuck in here, and it fits most of the space, but it's a bit lower, so that'll create the clearance we need for these taller items. But layout is so important. Think about where items are, what could they interact with as you close the lid. You know, spend time on your layout. It's very important. I have the fan installed over there. That'll send some airflow over, and I punched a few vent holes in the side here. So just so that we have a nice bit of airflow when I'm working this thing hard. And the battery is actually held in with a Velcro strap, a long piece of Velcro strap that comes out the side here and Velcros, and that's how the battery is supported. So it's fairly secure, so we can continue and begin with the wiring. So I have basically finished wiring this solar generator. There are no switches on the outside. All switches are under this cover here, including main power, including the meter, USB, inverter. Everything is under this main power. Is under this main cover here. And again, this is because a friend of mine was going to put this in his trailer, and he just wanted to be able to access everything from the top and not have to lift this out of the trailer. So that is how this is designed. Let me move this camera and get you a better view. Okay, so this is the main power switch. Clicking it like that will turn it on. This turns on the meter, and you can see the meter comes on. This turns on the USB, and you can see the USB is on. And this turns on the 12 volt circuit, and it also turns on a fan. I don't know if you can hear that now, but there is now a fan running and blowing air across the inside of this. The reason for that is when you really start working this, it could get hot in there. You know, you got the inverter in an enclosed box, you have the batteries, so we want a bit of airflow. But the fan is a 12 volt fan, so I wired it off the 12 volt circuit. So in order to turn on the fan, you also turn on the 12 volt circuit, but that's perfect. Like I said, that's a 12 volt connection, 10 amps. This over here is the two ways I will charge it. This is a wall plug that will plug in with an XT60, and that is a solar plug. I have a 100 watt solar panel that has this barrel connection on it, and that'll go into the solar charge controller and then into the battery. This switch here turns on these two circuits here. This is the inverter switch. I still need to label it, but when I flip this, you can hear the inverter turning on. That makes the inverter turn on and power up these 210 volt plugs. And these are the 210 volt plugs. So that's the layout there. Let me open it up. Close the lid, open it up. And here it is. It is quite a lot of wires. But this is what it takes to, you know, wire up all these individual circuits, and especially since some are 24 volts, some are 12 volt, and some are 110 volt, they all have to be wired differently. I don't think I said in the beginning of the video, this is a 24 volt battery. I use 24 volts because you can get away with thinner wire to the inverter. But the downside of that is your 12 volt circuits, you're going to have to run it through a 12 volt step down converter. So that is a 12 volt step down converter. So the fan and the 12 volt cigarette lighter first run through this step down converter. Let's spin you around here. This is our main power switch. So this wire comes up from the battery through the switch and back down to the inverter. I also tap power off. That feeds all the secondary circuits. So that power wire then runs through all these switches so that we can power the meter, the USB, everything that needs power. This is the meter. It needs a power wire, and it needs a wire that goes to the shunt to measure the difference in voltage. Here's your shunt, and these two wires here measure the voltage drop across the shunt, which in turn tells it how much amperage you're pushing. The main negative comes off the battery through the BMS, and then through a little fuse there, and then into the shunt, across the shunt, and then into the inverter, which is down here. Here is the inverter. I'm using this Wago block here to distribute power out to all the smaller circuits. It can handle up to 30 amps, so all the smaller circuits run through this Wago. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I have a separate, this BMS has a separate charge line. So the here is the wall plug and the solar. These both come down here and run over to this solar charge controller. The wall plug just goes straight to the battery. It's just grafted to the battery connection right here. So the wall plug effectively charges the battery directly. The solar wire first goes into here through the solar charge controller and then out to the battery. And the solar charge controller will step up the 12 volts to 24 volts. This is a step up solar charge controller. And that's the basic wiring. Our 210 volt circuits are not yet wired. I need to go get a wire from my office. But I'm just going to use like a standard computer cable, splice it onto these two terminals, and I'm just literally going to plug it into the front of the, let me take you mobile, into that plug on the front of the inverter. I'm literally going to plug a computer lead in there and then run it up to those 210 volt circuits, and the inverter switch, which turns on the inverter, plugs in right here. That's this switch over here. So everything is wired. The hardest part is just finding room. I actually initially had this solar charge controller mounted here in the center and didn't realize I was then hitting these USB plugs. So it is all about finding enough space for everything. But this seems to be a pretty efficient use of space. I know it looks like a garbage of wires, but you know, these are all the balance wires and an extra extension, so I can plug in a balancer into the battery directly and charge the battery directly if I need to. Everything has a purpose. Everything is the right gauge for what it needs to. You can see the largest circuit will be the 12 volt, and it's got the beefiest wires. Because it's 12 volt, the amps will go up, and you need more wire gauge per amp. So that is a pretty stealth solar charge controller, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. This Dewalt toolbox is awesome for just like $35. Pretty happy with it.